Hello one and all, and welcome to another video on the Baggers Chat YouTube channel. My name is Mitch Pattinson, and as always, we are joined by Ethan Daffy. And tonight, 9 o'clock on the 20th of November, Daffy Boy, Thursday night, we are doing the draft review of the three players that we have just drafted. Obviously, one yesterday with the big name of Harry Dean, Daffy Boy, but also two names tonight, which one of them was quite surprising. But before we throw to that, I'll throw straight to you. How are you? How have you been since the past week or so since we've seen each other? But yeah, first things first, mate. How are you?
No, I'm good, mate. I got a bit of a sore throat the last couple of days. Nothing too major, but just been managing that Pato in the lead up to the videos we're going to do today and tomorrow. So just a bit of management, bit of load management, as they say, Pato. But I'm pretty pleased with how this has all kind of turned out. I think it's been pretty straightforward. Obviously, the two of the guys we knew we were going to get probably at about July this year. So, and obviously another surprise in there with Byrne, who we'll touch on, but which literally just happened like 10, 15 minutes ago. So we're filming this on 9 o'clock on Thursday. So yeah, no, really pleased. And then obviously I think we'll get one in the rookie draft tomorrow. So whether it's a mature age or a young fella we're looking at, I think Carlton are pretty unpredictable when it comes to the rookie draft.
Which I like. I actually like that, how we are a little bit unpredictable. We don't like. I don't think other clubs know exactly what Carlton are kind of cooking up. Quick one about your throat. What do you, like? How do you think you've gotten that? Do you think that you've been watching too many Harry Dean highlights, mate?
No, I've been doing too much of this. I'm surprised. I'm surprised my shoulder hasn't popped out, Pato. But no, it's it's exciting times.
Yeah, no. Well, we'll throw straight to the first player, Daffy Boy, and it's obviously Harry Dean. This is the exact same ticket that we had saved for the draft preview a few weeks ago, Daffy Boy. So we just thought that we would keep this ready, saved for right here, right now. But Harry Dean has been drafted at pick 3, so a lot higher than what we first kind of thought. I know that he was kind of scouted to be probably pick 8, pick 9, around that sort of range, but now for him to be an official Carlton player, pick 3, and he's by far the best key defender in the draft. He's wearing that raised monogram jumper, which just gives me goosebumps. I know that his dad also presented the jumper, and he was looking extremely emotional as well. So I'll throw it to you. I know how much of a fan you are of this player, but now seeing that it is official, what's your first thoughts?
Yeah, I just think, you know, what's been done in this offseason, not just with this move. I think a lot of these moves we're doing, whether it's the footy department, the players we're bringing in, there's a clear, you know what I mean? There's this direction and this positivity heading towards our club. And I know I'm not saying, like, I just feel like this year's different. I know we say it every year, there's positivity, but I just feel like the moves we're making and the people we're bringing in, you know, look at how much Will Haywood and guys like Ollie Florent want to be there. They want to be at Carlton. They want to win a flag at Carlton. And then you go to this kid, right? And I know we didn't see his the play, but the amount of comments I have seen in the last 24 hours speaking about his father, 248 games for the club. My mum fucking loves him, right? He's a superstar in a superstar team in the 90s, and obviously a 2-time premiership player. And having his son, like you said, how emotional he was holding it back because, well, Mum was saying, and I'm sure people who are listening, he's a hard ass on the field, Peter Dean. Yeah. So, you know, you probably don't see those guys get too emotional, but obviously it probably got the better of him, and that's fair enough, bloody oath. Seeing his son, you know, finally, you know, live out his dreams and play for the club that he loves. And he did speak about how he still has Weeder's poster in his bedroom still. And he's not afraid to say that he's, you know, that Nuffy supporter. That's what I love. Yeah. You know, I feel like when you see other father-sons, I'm not saying all there's a lot of father-sons who, you know, live and breathe their club, but some of them are a little bit more on the outer. They're not really a fan. They're father-son. They love the club, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like he's got that, I am already a Carlton person. If I wasn't drafted by this club, I am a Carlton person anyway. So this is just obviously the top of the top, and obviously the dreams of all kids who go for Carlton wanting to play for Carlton. So like I said with my first point and the positivity, it's just fantastic. And the bonus is he's a gun. So he's obviously a gun player. He's got a good size. He looks he looks bigger than a usual defender at this age. I feel like you look at O'Farrell last year, really skinny, still played games, and I thought he played really well when he did. So, obviously that'll be the pairing for the future, and then he gets to play with Wiedering, and then obviously Nick Haynes being that experienced head down there as well. So, I don't know if it's sticking my neck out, but he'll be there opening round. I think he's got the competitiveness to succeed in his first year. You see a lot of 18-year-olds, they might, shirk it, or when they play the key position, it takes a little while. He's ready. He's ready.
Yeah.
He comes out, he goes, I want to be there Friday training. And I wouldn't be fucking surprised if he's out there, to be honest. Like that it's the mindset, Pato, for me. He wants to be there. He already wants to win games. He's not focusing on himself. He's focusing on Carlton winning games. He's 18.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know that I saw a lot of comments as well on the AFL post, and like there was a lot of questions that came his way about like who he's kind of looking most looking forward to playing alongside next year in 2026, and we all know that it will be alongside Jacob Wiedering. But even when you just said then about the future of Harry Dean and Harry O'Farrell as our two key defenders, it just has a thing that's coming through my mind nowadays about, I think we are still, I don't think we probably should be around probably the 7 to 10 mark in terms of the competition. But I seriously think we could still be a contender. But even if we're not, I still think we have 5 to 10 years of the future where we will still be around that mark, because we have like guys like Jagger Smith, guys like Harry Dean, Harry O'Farrell. We've got guys like Cooper Lord rolling through. We've got Cody Walker next year. And it's actually unbelievable how well we have like kind of managed the past few drafts of getting in guys like Harry O'Farrell, and more importantly Cooper Lord as well, to just add to that midfield depth. The Camporelli twins, which I think will just keep on improving. I just think it's the way that we've done it. It's fantastic, and for him to be at the height of 194 centimeters, he has an absolute gnarly.
The
shoulder.
The scar.
I couldn't even think of the other word, definitely, but. Yeah, that scar was like, you just know. There was just, as soon as I saw that, that heading into next year, he will have that taped up. But I actually almost don't want him to have it taped up, because he looks even bloody meaner, mate, out the field. But kind of last thoughts on Harry Dean before we move on to our next player, Daft Boy. Like, looking at his height, and I completely agree about, I think he will be there opening round, because he's just got that look about him, and I think he's the perfect third defender. He doesn't need to, he can play tall. He can play tall. He can play as a second defender and have Wiedering as the main guy, and then have Nick Haynes as a third defender, and have him playing tall and small. I think it's something that I know in past years with Harry O'Farrell, I didn't really want him to play early. I want Harry Dean to play early, because I think he's got the capability now to actually play opening round 2026 and play the whole season.
I agree, and I think he has the capability, and the ability to help us win games now.
Yeah,
I think we actually need him down there, and I think that I know they probably don't play. Well, I guess they play a similar role in the second and thirds, but I guess that probably pushes Kemp forward. I know he was doing a lot of forward drills last week of training with Kemp and mate. Honestly, I see him as the second. I see him as the second defender. I think he replaces Jack Silvani's position.
Yeah, wow.
I'm not saying he's going to be the superstar, and I'm not going to rely on him fully, but he's going to be next to Weeders. He's going to have a whole preseason of bloody. I did joke to you about it, that he's going to be on the bloody Wiedering diet, for the next 3-4 months.
Chicken and rice.
Chicken and rice. Chicken and rice, and doing 700 kilo bicep curls with Weeders. But no, it's really, really cool. And he's a great interceptor. He's a good kick. He's a left footer, a little bit different. Add something different in our defense. Yeah. A taller left footer. I know we have Newman and I know we have Saad, but a guy can take big grabs and take. Yes. He's got that. People always talk about. He's got that white line fever. Yeah. He's a pretty shy kid, but I feel like when he steps on the ground, I know people are, comparing him with his father. And if he's anything like that, then I think we've got a good one.
Mate, it's fantastic. I'm a huge fan of him, man. I know that we're obviously going to go to the training tomorrow, so we'll be quite interesting to see if you will be there. But Daft Boy, let's now move on to the next player that we drafted. It is Taylor Byrne from the...
Yes.
That's absolutely... Why have I done that? That has actually come up as a... I apologise to the viewers. That is my fault. It was meant to be a ticker. It's meant to be a smaller version, but it's a little bit bold out there, but I guess it was a bit of a bold selection at that point. So
Yes, it was.
does kind of align together quite well. But Taylor Byrne, Greater Western Victoria Rebels, he's a small forward, Daffy Boy, which is something that we probably weren't looking to draft in this. Like we probably weren't looking to draft a small forward like this, knowing that we obviously we obviously received Will Hayward. We obviously brought Will Hayward into the club, and we probably weren't expecting to get another small forward. But now that we have him, I'm like, okay, well, I probably don't mind it. I know that we were looking at Lockie Dovison as a guy that we could potentially bring into the club, and obviously that didn't happen. So I probably don't mind the pick, but knowing that this is quite an outside sort of choice from the Carlton Football Club to draft Byrne into the club, what's your kind of thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think we have enough good small forwards. I think that's our issue. I know, you got Hayward and Ainsworth, but I feel like obviously we're going to be relying a lot on them kicking goals and deep at points. But you look at Ainsworth's game, I know he wants to play a little bit deeper. I'm sure he will at Carlton. But at Gold Coast, he was a high half forward. Like he was pushing really high, and he was that connector. I'm not saying, Taylor Byrne's going to, take that small forward spot, but maybe that's what they're looking at. And I know a lot of people go, why are we drafting another one? Well, we haven't nailed them. We haven't nailed most of them. Let's be real. I know we got Flynn Young in. Will White is not on the list anymore. I really like it. And I think he won the best and fairest at the Rebels, I'm pretty sure, this year. Played for Vic Country with Harry Dean. So there's a little bit of a connection there. And he's that little nuggety type player that we need. Those little, just like, you know what I mean? They're stocky. They're a little bit fucking annoying when you play against them.
Yeah.
And he can kick goals. So I was just looking at his draft profile on numerous ones and just seeing what, was the overall kind of consensus of what he is as a player. He's got the physicality and the work rate. And the big one for me, this third point, and this is what our small forwards have struggled at, and we've both spoken about this for years. Goal sense. If you're there in the forward line, Pato, and you got one chance and you pick it up, you got 1 second to kick the goal. That's what turns the shit small forwards into good ones. Look at Tom Papley's. Players like that. 2 seconds, he's got the ball banging through the goal. And you go, how the fuck did he do that? Well, that's his job. So hopefully a guy like Taylor Byrne can do that. He's very young looking. When you look at the photo, he looks about 13 years old. But he's making me, and I'm sure he's making you feel old, Pato. But no, I really like this pickup because it just adds to the small forward kind of brigade, and he can develop. We can allow him to develop in the twos.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if this was this year's draft or 2027 or 2028 year's draft, boy, because I looked at his face. I'm like, you sure this is 2025? Because he looks about 13. But
it's straight out of year
7. We are really looking forward to the future now. So, all right, we're going to lock this guy in.
Yeah, we're going to lock him in. Just in case we fuck up more small forwards.
Do not touch this year 7 guy. He's going to be a star. Kind of last thoughts on this. I completely agree about the goal sense and just making sure that we get a guy who can actually come in and actually kick goals. Now, at the end of the day, if you're a small forward, the only way that you stay in the team is to kick goals. And I think that's something that a lot of questions, like Lockie Fogarty this year, a lot of questions were asked when he was just that pure small forward. He wasn't kicking goals. I know that 2023 was probably his best season, but the reason why he was so good is because he was rolling through the middle. He wasn't doing that this year. So he was purely as that small forward, and he wasn't kicking goals. So then there was question asked, and then now heading into 2026, he probably won't be there in the best 22, which I think is great for depth. So huge get this one, Daffy Boys. So Taylor Byrne, welcome to the Carlton Football Club, and hopefully he goes well with Daffy Boy. Let's now move on to our last player that we've drafted tonight before potentially we pick up another player tomorrow in the rookie draft. But it is Jack Ison. So I'm going to take that off. I've once again fucked up that forward, but that's all right. We'll move on. But Jack Ison, midfielder, Oakley Chargers, my good guy, Daffy Boy. Can I just say, this guy was rated to go pick 27. We got him at pick 47. He was not bidded until then, which is crazy. So, Jack Ison, it is fantastic that we actually secured this guy, and for him to be for us to secure him at pick 47, I think is a fantastic outcome. So, kind of last thoughts on this video, Daft Boy, and our last by Jack Ison. I know how much of a fan of a play, how much of a fan of, how much of a fan you are of this guy. What's your kind of last thoughts on Jack Ison?
Yeah, well, and the big thing with this one for me is that he didn't get bid on when he was expected to. We didn't lose those picks, and we turned those picks into a future second for next year and a future third. And I talked to you about it before we went on air with the whole situation. We don't know how much it's actually going to cost for Walker. I think he's going to go one. That's just my thinking. I think you go 1 or 2. So they're just getting prepared for that. And we've got 2 firsts next year. We've got Brisbane, Gold Coast is second now, and Brisbane's third. So, and we wouldn't have got those 2 if he was bidded, if he was bid on earlier, Pato. So, no, really pleased. He's an academy boy, so he's been amongst it. I think similar to Dean, they're not going to take too long to settle in at the football club because they've been a part of it. He did speak about it on Gettable yesterday that during last preseason, every Friday they actually train with the main group. So they did the full session with the full players. So they've got to know the players. He said he worked closely with Walshy and Cripper. So they're 2 blokes that you probably want to work closely with, Pato, if you want to be a good midfielder in this competition because they're 2 stars. So, yeah, really pleased. And, it's just something different. He's just something different. And you got to keep adding into your midfield group. I think these days you got to be batting pretty deep to be a good team. You look at Brisbane, they got heaps and heaps. They added more. In this, I think it was Annabelle at pick 6 or 7 or whatever. They get those players for free, but anyway, but yeah, like they get those players at 6 and 7, another mid through there, but they just keep adding. One goes out, one's out of form next year. Who comes in? This 18-year-old. That'll happen with us next year. I really think the big ask for Michael Voss from me is to scrap the ages. Don't worry about the ages. If they're playing well enough, he's in. You know what I mean? So don't worry about it. I think in the past, I think this year they played the young kids, but I think we were kind of forced to because we were struggling. But you know what I mean? If he's killing it in the 2s in the first 2 rounds, and fucking I don't know who's not playing well. I don't know. Might be Fogarty off a half forward. I don't know if he's going to be playing or not. But whoever it is, play the kid. Well, why wait? Brisbane might play that animal in the first fucking round for all we know. So you look at the good teams; they're not afraid to pull the trigger. Geelong. They're not afraid. Look at Dempsey's and guys like they just throw them to the wolves and go bang. And then you look at him and you go, how's he so good already? Because they're ready for it. And I think him and Dean are really ready for it. I want to see more of Byrne, of course, but I think those 2 are ready for it, and particularly Ison and Dean.
Yeah, I think I know that the start of the 2025 season, the first kind of shift that I kind of saw from a selection point of view was playing the kids. We saw it round 1 against Richmond, playing Lucas Camporelli round 1. So I think seeing that was quite like it was quite like a fresh sort of look, which I actually enjoyed. And as you said, I don't know why the past few years we've kind of been so scared to play these guys. Like we were so scared to play Jackson Binns early, and I know there probably was a good reason for that not to happen. But I know that like also Harry Lemmy was another one, like guys that we were crying out for. But once again, I think now heading into this, like heading into next year, I think we are now going to really scrap the ages. Who cares? Hawthorn have done it. Every single other club have done it. And like literally Brisbane have done it. And they played Levi played every single game this year. So I just don't. I think that sort of mindset from clubs has just completely been wiped, which I think is probably a good thing. And my point of view is put your best 23 out on the park. It doesn't matter about ages. I don't care about experience. I mean, of course, you need to have some sort of experience, but I want the best 23 players out there who are the most talented, most skillful, and probably the best in terms of chemistry to go out there and get the job done. I don't care about other guys. And another thing about Taylor Byrne as well, which I love,
Yeah.
And I know that you were saying it earlier about how he can kind of be a bit of that Toby Green kind of not sniper, but just a bit of an annoying footballer. And I think once again we missed it with Matt Owies this year. I think so.
Yeah.
He can get featured quite early, in my opinion. I think that might kind of be my sort of not controversial call, but kind of outlandish call. Is I think Tyler Byrne could get. Taylor Byrne can get quite a early game, quite early, Daft Boys. So before we wrap up this video, Daft Boys, is there anything else you would like to touch on before we see each other tomorrow at the training?
No, nothing else really. I think it's a pretty successful draft. Obviously, we might touch on the rookie one, or another video, or whatever, if there's one or two rookies that we can look into. But yeah, no, really, really pleased with it. Obviously, headlined by Harry Dean, who I think will open the season in opening round and take a hanger on Charlie's back. That'll be a good watch there, and I'll run on the field and give him a high five.
Oh, actually. Sorry, I'll ask one more thing.
Yeah,
Harry Dean, what number is he wearing next year?
If I was the president, Billy Wilson can get 50, and you fucking come on, Bill. Come on, Bill. Give it. His dad's had blood, sweat, and tears for this jumper, and his son has finally made it to the top level, and he can't get the bloody number. So no, I think if I was the president, I'd give him the 35. But I think he'll get 15. Yeah, I think he's played in the 15 the last couple of years. So, yeah, he'll get the 15 until, whatever happens to big, bad Billy Wilson.
Turn it up, Bill. Turn it up, Billy. I 100% agree. I think he needs to
it'd be pretty special. I think even more special for fans who've watched this club for years and years. I know how much of a favourite Peter was. So I think it'd be cool for that. It is cool when you're a younger supporter, and I don't really want to talk about him, but Jack Silvani, when he came out and when he played in the one, you could see it was that special connection. But we're not going to talk about him anymore. But in terms of, it's just cool. I just think it's a really cool thing because we're such a massive club, and I think sometimes we've steered away from that in the past. I know we always go and don't always talk about the past, but I think in that sense, it's pretty cool to give him the number. So hopefully Billy moves out of that.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for about 10, 15 years' time when we see Robbie Warnock's son playing in the number 11. And who knows, boy, he might be our next superstar ruckman. Who would have thought that we would have heard Robbie Warnock on this episode?
I can't wait for his son to kick points off his ankle bone like he did against Richmond that time from about 20 out. I'm sure a lot of people remember that. He did kick the opening goal in the elimination final, though. So
he did too.
We'll give him that. Yeah.
Probably his only goals kicked in his career, definitely. But to every single blue bagger out there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We will be doing a training recap tomorrow.
Yes.
Unless there's probably literally, if there's nothing to really recap on, we might not do one. But most likely, 99% we will be doing one because we both will be there. So. If there's anything that will come out, we will make sure to do a training recap. But to you, Daffy boy, and to every single blue bagger out there,
baggers.